Back to what I was speaking on, what I was getting at. Yeah, they just want a tainer. They want a tainer. They want your pain to abstain her, to 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 stain her, to frustrate her. Right? They want to infiltrate and contaminate her. Right? They just some haters. They're not lovers. They lame. They just want to blame her. They just want to taste, but they can't handle the flavor. They don't want to paint her. They want to shade her. They just want to, they don't want to plug her. They want to shank her. Right? They don't want to love her. They want to take her. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to hold her. They want to shape her. You know what I'm saying? They want to label her. You feel me? They want to stain her. You know what I'm saying? They want to put they fucking weight. They want to put they weight on you. So we're now, you almost break her. You feel me? They don't want to heal her. They don't want to feel her. They want to steal her. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to teach her. They don't even want to hear her. Right? You know what I'm saying? They want to have you feeling all type of ways just so that whatever connection you're able to make, now it's stained by the world, by the times, by the trade, right? By the case. They want to take you off your path. They want to divert you, right? Right? They want to make it right? Ain't no other options or something like it's inevitable, right? That it can't grow, like it ain't gonna evolve, like it ain't gonna blossom into something completely godly, holy, as in whole, without holes in it, to where the holes can be replenished and finished, right? To where now it's shimmering and glimmering, you know what I'm saying? It's got a sheen on it, you know what I mean? It's completely cleaned, you know what I'm talking about? To where it now begins to bling as well as sing, right? The reflection, you know what I mean? I had a thought about reflection right now, right? Like, because if light is alive, my nigga, that means that reflective surfaces are evil, my nigga. At what point other would you see a reflective surface clear enough so as there to be an image which is made of light, whether it is seen by a person's eye or not, or animal, or sphere, so as to register this particular light that is now, showing, whether it's seen or not, it's still showing. Yes, the light is alive, they say. They say the light is particles itself. So the light in that reflection is not the same light that is on my exterior surface. That, of course, is revealing my complexion, my image to whoever would be there to see me within the proximity, circumference, vicinity of my area, of my place, of my placement, of my arrival, of, you know what I mean, my motherfucking being, wherever I happen to be at, you know what I'm talking about? So, right? So we got these windows and all these extra shits, you know what I'm saying? That's new, bro. That's new, bro. Now, you get a bird fly across a window, my nigga. That's another bird, nigga. It's a bird in the reflection world, brother. We done made a whole nother dimension operating 24 hours. Anytime it can reflect anything that could be seen. It may not matter because, of course, we're totally right about everything we understand about life for now. But then we realize that, oh shit, we done trapped a whole nother us in a world that still exists, but only can be experienced in a second. Infinitely temporary, my nigga. Infinitely momentary, nigga. Right? Because even if you pass the same window every day, nigga, that window, my nigga, has borders, my nigga. It is in a frame, my nigga. That window, my nigga, has 4 points to lock it, just as a door does. Yes, so I'm chilling, right? You know who gave me this idea? I walked past a reflective window one time. I was on my way to work. I think I was on my way to work or coming from work or to find some work no. So I passed this reflective window and shit, right? Or it could have been a door. Now we got windows on doors and shit. Like niggas can't even make their mind up. They done made a window on a door. Like who the fuck make a door out of glass? Like why would you have a glass ass door? Like, Nick, what the fuck is the door doing there if it's glass? You can see through it. You can bust it open. It ain't protecting what's inside the building. Fuck is it there for? So as to trap that you that does not stay right there between them fucking lines, my nigga, and step up out of that world. At least for you to see it, because when ain't nobody can see it, ain't no telling what happened. Maybe that you that passed that by that window, nigga, find his way back to that corner, nigga, and crawl up out of that bitch like, oh snap, how the fuck I got trapped up in here? Man, I had to wait till nobody see me come up out of here to come up and get up out of this fucking reflection world I was in, cuz. Whew. I'm finna go kill this nigga to put me up in here, cuz. I need to go find this nigga so he don't walk past no more windows. And I ain't got to find other alternate reflection creations of the same me that's me, this light particle intelligence. Because, man, it's getting out of hand out here. I got millions of me's trapped in this reflection world. Yeah, I'm about to, first I got to kill this nigga. Then I don't know how I'm going to throw him up in this reflection world. But, shoot, I mean, first, let me just take care of getting this nigga out the way real quick. Because we can't keep having this all the time. Every time another one of me come up here, the nigga older, they got on a different outfit and shit. What the fuck? Sheesh, man. This shit been going on for about 20 years, nigga. We got a 2-year-old reflection me. We got a 2-year-old reflection me with Nikes on. We got a 2-year-old reflection me with with stitches. Nigga can't eat. Nigga can't stop eating a hot dog because the nigga just he don't know what else to do with himself because that's the way he came into the world. And the motherfucker had a hot dog. And the nigga ain't never finished eating his hot dog the last 20 years. Nigga still biting hot dogs and shit. It's crazy out here, man. It's crazy out here, man. Man, what do we do with these windows? What the fuck they make these windows for? Nature already got reflection. Nature already did all that for us. If you want to see yourself, go to the river, nigga. Okay? Let it be special. Have somebody draw you like back in the day, nigga. What happened to paintings, nigga? Fuck wrong with y'all? Fuck you need a painting for? You got a camera. Fuck you need a painting for? You got a camera. Fuck you got. I mean, I ain't mad at movies. But then they now, you know what I'm saying? Now they want to make movies advertisements and shit now. Nigga, fuck. What happened to the theatricals? Nigga, what happened, you know what I'm saying? Niggas ain't even got no art in the movie no more. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Every few moments they showing the woman longer than they showing the man and shit. I mean, the other way around. Maybe, I mean, I'm saying I get to see him abroad, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, they was showing this nigga talking to her for about the last 2.5 minutes, so I know they finna show her for at least a good 40 seconds. Shit, they show her for 7 seconds. Go back to the nigga for 5 minutes. I'm like, bro, like, damn, cuz I want to see her. I don't want to see you seeing her. Check, check, check. This light, of course, is the light of whatever it is reflecting off of. Yes, this light is reflecting off of this particular substance, this surface, this object. Yes, we have our own light, we have our own aura, we have our own magnetic corona, emission. We have a resonant sort of buzzing, halo around us of light, right? Visible or not, under the spectrum or, beyond the spectrum, you know what I mean? Of this particle, spirit, energy, alive, patterned intelligence that is light. They say light is moves through waves, yes, or particles. It's either waves or particles. Scientifically, they can't really say. They say that particles are smart enough to know that you're looking at it. They move differently when you look at it. Science have proven this, at least first when they even discovered the particle. When they first discovered particles, they discovered that particles are intelligent enough to differentiate if it's being monitored or not, cuz. In itself, my nigga. This is the first fact of quantum physics, nigga. This is the first thing they noticed, bro. It seems when we do an experiment on these wave slash particle slash waves, it's mind-bogglingly unexplainable where it's during this exercise we've drafted in this lab here. These light particles, man, they know they're being watched, man. What you mean? What the fuck you talking about? What the fuck you mean? Fuck you talking about? How you even know how it would move? How do you even know how it would move if you wasn't watching it? First of all, ooh, now that's to just open up a whole can of ass. That's just, that's a whole can of trouble. That's a lot of, because at the same time, it could be acting like it's acting different. You feel me? Like, what the fuck, nigga? Like, oh, snap, nigga. Oh, I wouldn't fuck with it. I probably would just go back to wherever we came from as to what you made you feel like you wanted to try to test some shit, okay? What led you to wanting to test something? Was it alchemy? Now, where we get that from? Okay, we got that from the motherland. We say we got that from where? Who? And what is they saying? They saying don't fuck with it? They don't have doors? Where they come from? They don't use mirrors there? You say you got this science? The whole idea of even how to even want to even try to do some science with the lives of the future from some niggas who said don't fuck with it? I wouldn't fuck with it, bruh. To be honest with you. They say the light know it's being watched. You probably don't want to be watching the light then. What you want to watch the light for? Anyway. You know what I mean? Let it show itself to you. You know what I mean? It's already showing itself to you. You know what I mean? Watch, but don't spy. You know what I'm saying? Spying is different from watching, okay? When she know I'm watching, she gonna show me what I am supposed to see. And nothing else should be. At least for me to have seen, at least. Because that's a whole lot of, that's a big can of ass there. That's more information than I was, you know what I mean? It's really designed for me to process. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, as far as my processing facility and capabilities and circumference as well, I mean, it's not that I cannot process it, but some things are, you know, have a purpose and, you know, a place, and some things don't have no purpose. And I'm a purposeful person. I try my best to be a purposeful person. That's why, you know, I'm doing all type of different things every time. You know, it's like you can only do one thing, you know, things the first time once, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean? And you can only do it last time one time, and that's if you do it at all. So it's like, at the same time, it's like you can do it differently the first time, but you gotta do it to start with, right? Then you got to do it differently the first time, right? So it's like, hey, how much other things are you doing for the first time while you're doing different things or the same things differently? Well, I mean, like I said, that reflection is there capturing all type of people's images, and ain't nobody even noticing them. Like, hey, who's to fucking say, like, when you ain't looking at it, that that it's not behaving differently just as light does? It's an image at this point, you know what I mean? Like I said, the river, it is beautiful enough, but see, that's water. The water, you already know the water got intelligence on it. You know, it's not the same. Like, who's to say that just because you done made a mirror to where it's all the same, it's close enough, it's far enough too. It's close enough, but yes, that means it's not the same. That means it's far enough too, yo. And far at any distance is too far for me, especially when we already there. We moving away from it, close or far. When we supposed to be going deeper into it, you can jump into some water, cuz. You can't jump into that mirror though, or can you? You ain't finna find no reflection nowhere else in nature, nigga. Unless you can hop up in that bitch and go deep, down, up in it to where the light does not reach anymore. The reflection. Except for you can swim your way the fuck back up out of there because you still alive. You know what I mean? You got your spirit in you. It's not just the look of you. It's not just the image. It's not just you know what I mean? A reflection. You know what I'm saying? An echo of what's happening. It's like, what the fuck is the point, cuz? Like, little shit, like, you feel me? Like, little shit, like, at the same time, it's like, if it was so small, like, what the fuck is the point anyway? Like, why even make that shit like that? Like, if it, you know what I mean? Like, the shit ain't even dope. Like, the shit is fucking redundant. The shit is defeatist. The shit is, purposeless. It's useless, nigga. You got a door? You got a door? That's made out of glass? Why? It can hurt somebody. Because you want to have the light come through? True enough. Fair enough. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. True enough. Fair enough. You want the light. You got to have the sunlight coming through the door. You want to have it beautiful, to have the light come through. That's okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense. You want to have the light come through. Well, the light is, everyone safe without doors is what the light is. The light is us not having to be living anywhere that is not suitable climate-wise. That's the light. So you don't need central heating to stay warm, because you're in a place where all year round you could be butt-ass naked and still do what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? Handle your business. Do whatever it is you came to that place that you at that ain't got no doors or borders or corners or limits to get done. And it's going to be a natural thing that's happening there, I would imagine. Otherwise, you ain't got no business doing that shit. And ain't no light invited there if it ain't natural. The light it don't have no use there except for to reflect, except for to now be trapped. You know what I'm saying? The only thing the light is going to do is reveal the shadows, right? Now it got to go to where the shadows is at for all that. You know what I mean? So in a pitch black, midnight, dark city sidewalk, shit, one of my reflection selves then found his way from up out of that little corner, the same reflection. You feel me? Just imagine that. The same, you know what I mean? The same door that he was created in. The nigga passed by the door. I didn't even look at myself, but and my reflection turned the same way, going nowhere, because as soon as I passed this fucking border, this doorway, this seal of this door, that motherfucker's gonna cease to exist. And a different me is gonna be passing any other time, because I didn't already pass I didn't stop, you know what I mean? I'm still, the image of me is still moving in that moment in time, and all of history as well as the universal existence, right? But that door is there, reflecting some shit for what? Oh, because what? Convenience, nigga? Because what? Nigga, modernity? You know what I'm saying? Modernity? What? Fucking technology? Nigga, it ain't worth it, bro. Trust me. Trust me, dog. It's not worth it, bro. Just, you know what I mean? Just like realistically, as far as like the quality, like, you know what I'm saying? Like as far as like the essence, like as far as like the sanctity of it, you know what I mean? There's no sanctity, okay? In the synthetic, right? It's soulless, yo, right? But there's a larger universal soul, though. The world itself has a soul. This very planet got a soul, bro. If we come up out the planet made of dust, right? Made of the same material, mud of this planet, and we have a spirit or a soul, then how the world don't got a soul? You know what I'm saying? It's giving us air to breathe in order to stay alive, in order to experience our soul in this body. Yes? So are not these man-made buildings out of whatever material we was able to find from up out of the earth, even if we melted some chemicals together, and there's some type of proxy type of, latex, you know what I'm saying, non-biodegradable plastic, it still was made from chemicals that we found on this earth. Even if it never biodegrades, it's going to biodegrade eventually. It may take longer than forever, then the earth will even be here, but it's going to dissolve eventually over time. But, we don't need it. It's not necessary. Like, we already got we got enough to start. We got more than we need to start with. We already had more than we need to start with. That's the testament of the pyramids in Giza, Egypt, right? This is 6,000, 7,000, 10,000. They don't even know how old the pyramids is, but it's older than everything. It's older than anything, my nigga, built, except for other astoundingly monolithic works of beauty, which are not synthesis, or which are all natural as well. Okay, and even if that's older, we had adequate materials then to do what cannot even be done now. It's the part. These beautiful works of astounding fucking design. They want to try to say it's aliens. Either way, where the aliens at? They ain't went nowhere. What, you waiting for the aliens to come back so that they can do what? No. Them was, whoever it was, they still use earth materials, my G. Ain't no foreign, ain't none of these joints got no foreign materials from no other planet. It wasn't no glass. You don't see not nan reflective surface on that bitch, do you?
Go to the river.
No.
Okay. Let it be special.
Do you? So get out my face, man, with all of this extra click clack, nigga. No, it's not the look, my G. Look, don't get me wrong. It's a new day. It's a new day. It's a new day. Don't get me wrong. However, just because something is the latest don't make it new. Just because it's the most recent don't make it new, bro. Okay? That's the idea of aging, yes? Right? We age over time. You know, this is the newest day I done ever lived, but I'm older. You know what I'm saying? I'm older tomorrow, but that's the newest day, you know what I'm talking about? And that's the whole, you know what I mean? That's the kind of flip side sort of way to approach it. The further back in time we go, the longer we lived back then, right? Age expectancy was longer back before the fucking dark ages and shit. Right? Niggas lived to be, supposedly in the Bible, they say motherfuckers were living thousands of years, hundreds of years in Whoopty Wop. You know what I'm saying? 300s and 400s of years, yes. That's what they say in the Bible. The very, you know what I'm saying? And they say, whatever religious book you got, they're gonna tell you, Whoopty Wop, that niggas was living, right? Now, if you believe this fucking Bible, any of these books, nigga, then you have to believe that niggas was living longer. And that's gonna make you have to think about what would change to where niggas would stop living longer. Well, probably because we trap in this light. Every chance we get, we putting windows on doors. When we shouldn't even have doors to begin with. What we need a door for? To protect what? Somebody money? We shouldn't have money. To what? To do what? Buy something we can make? Why? Because it's faster? Well, yeah, just because it's the latest don't make it the newest, though, love. Nothing is microwave. Good things take time, so instant things must be evil, yeah? If good things take time and nothing lasts forever, and the best things take longer, then what is all of this, you know, microwave, this microwave culture, you know what I mean, this whole like instant gratification type, upfront, now or never type shit. Like if it's now or never, nigga, then let it be.
Okay. Let it be special.
Never say never though. And I just said it, but I just said it for example. Because it's always now, even if it is never, it's the part. And that's the point. Like people try to, you know what I mean, spin it to where it's like, oh well shit, yeah, well, make it, you know what I mean, go with the flow basically, or you know, don't upset the balance when the balance is already unbalanced. I get it, and I know how to operate in both realms. Trust me, that's why I'm even speaking on it. You know, it's not about what I know how to do or that I can operate. It's just the fact that you know, everything is happening is all about what it is your motive and intention is. It's all about what you see as the actual fuller purpose of whatever, you know, and it's already a divine design to everything. And so long as you respect that and haven't been diverted away from that too much because of all those reflections, then you're always going to be able to operate in both. You're always going to be at least be able to be more receptive to operating in both. Whether you know, act on it or see it through, or you know, are courageous enough to, you know, to fucking upset the imbalance is basically what you're saying. Don't, you know what I mean? Because it's already imbalanced. Don't upset the imbalance. Okay, true enough, you don't want to make a bad situation worse, but that's not what I'm speaking on. I'm talking about healing. I'm talking about reversing the diversion. Okay? I'm talking about reputing the diffusion. Okay? You understand me? So like, I'm just letting you know, like, I'm not, and it's not about talking about it. That's not really what I'm talking about. I'm just presenting to you a scenario, which, and this is the situation. Like, I'm presenting you a scenario. Like, a lot is so comically artful that goes unnoticed. That is just basically ignored. That's basically overlooked, you know, like the fact that a reflection an unnatural reflection could be not the best idea. Like, and what's funny was like, it kind of is telling. It sort of is obvious to me that even if it's subconsciously, that's a realization, because it's like we got reflections on shit that we don't even need reflections on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everywhere you turn, you could see a nigga in a reflection. You could watch a whole nigga. Your reflection could be watching the reflection of a motherfucker, yo. You could be watching somebody in a reflection on a reflection. My nigga, you can have a reflective surface. Say your TV is off, right? And your window is open, right? And you at an angle in this particular boxed ass room, which is capturing this light. That's unnatural, bro. And they say light is alive, my nigga. So it's like, you gotta understand, like, it could be unintentional, but who's to say that it is? That's just something you would have to assume and operate based on your trusting, which is not wise to do. It's not safe to do, especially when you can at least consider the idea. And that will at least keep you to where you already like, or can tell it for what it really is, without having to believe that it is something that it's not. Right? Even if you can't say exactly what it is completely or fully. The reflection. Yet, you're definitely going to be slower to deciding or to concluding. You're going to be slower to concluding that it isn't the illusion that it obviously would have to be, because it's not more natural than it isn't natural. Echo. You know what I mean? So it's all about illusion and reality. You know what I mean? Like, this world of illusion, this is becoming a more and more of an illusionary, world every moment. I mean, and what's cold is like, that's the part, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's so comically unartful. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like everything is extremely microwave. It's like it's a plastic world. And there's nothing wrong with it, because of course it's a reflection. It's a homage to the true nuances and the essences. However, like, a young mind wasn't around for the debut and the inception of film or the theatrical performances. Like, they wouldn't even be able to connect with that the same, because it's like they seen the reproduction of it before they actually seen a live show and heard somebody singing live, or you know what I mean, a melodic voice in their actual ear, as opposed to a MP3 first. And even further than that, like, they can go online and see anything that they wouldn't necessarily be able to see unless they knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody that knew somebody that actually did what it is that they watching. Right? And a lot of things you can see, you probably should be able to learn some things first before you are even exposed to it. Because now it desensitizes you from appreciating and embracing the fuller intelligence related to the actual origin and core of the actual purpose of its existing in the first place, which is beauty, true beauty. And so it's now mutating the beauty to where the beauty is seen as just something that can be seen. When I read something just recently, it said that power is inner beauty. Right? I asked the question, what is freedom? I answered, what is freedom? Right? Freedom is the only freedom, really. What they say, the only happiness is service to God, basically. It's to adhere to divine order, to follow, to basically devote yourself to a higher purpose, to a higher service, to Godhead, basically, to your creator, is to agree to what it is that your maker deems your assignment is true happiness. It's service to life and love. It's service. It's true happiness. They say you can't buy happiness, like Pitbull say you can't buy happiness. No, you can buy happiness. Money can buy happiness, but you just have to give it away, right? An old African proverb goes, happiness is something that you get by ensuring other people's happiness. Basically, you can't gain happiness, or you cannot get to happiness without sharing happiness. The way you get happiness is to give happiness, right? It goes, we have the analogy of the marbles, right? Where all the kids had their own marble with their name on it, right? And Olodumare shook it up, threw all the marbles all around. Now the kids have 5 minutes to find their marble. They was looking all around, and none of the kids was finding their own marble, but they did all find other marbles. Yes? But they would have to drop it, of course, because they don't have their name on it. So they go to the next marble, and 5 minutes pass. That ain't long enough time. That's not long enough time for everybody to find their marble. Nobody found their marble in 5 minutes. Not one. But everybody found a marble. Some people found the wrong marble a few times. Came back to the wrong marble. Never their own marble though. Now their marble is not their happiness. Their happiness is coming when they all come back to collective together after we pick up whatever we find, bring it back together, and offer it together. Reflect. You got my marble, I got your marble, and now we both happy. And we can all be happy when we all happy. Right? So, as far as freedom is after peace. No, you got peace, and then you got freedom. And then you have bliss after freedom, right? Because bliss and happiness is different, right? And then you even got joy too. So you got joy, bliss, and happiness, right? And you got love between joy and happiness, right? And then you got joy just before you get to peace. And then you got, and this is all, nigga, this is medical, nigga, this is medical facts, nigga. Okay, this is the spectrum, this is the scientific spectrum of frequency, emotional frequencies that's used for all type of healing, okay? All sorts of, reversal of imbalances, basically, right? So you got from joy to peace to freedom to bliss. We got enlightenment before you get to bliss, which bliss is enlightenment, right? Bliss is like the 17th. Enlightenment is really the top, but bliss is really like, it's more than just, you don't stop, when you get to that point, then you can actually grow from there. Like, because it's like, if you operate from that realm, then anything else is actually going to have that mixed into it, and so it's this pure form of even happiness or fucking grief, whatever it is, like, it's just gonna happen. But it's like, but if you never lose yourself, the true core of yourself, the true essence of yourself, the pure essence of yourself, to these illusions, which is a mere reflection, then you'll be able to identify the beauty in it. You know what I'm saying? And not be trying to justify its appeal. You know what I mean? Or argue its, relevance, or argue its superiority, basically. You know what I'm saying? Argue its superiority. You got to give that marble away. You know what I mean? Nobody's superior to nobody. And it ain't for nobody else to say for sure not. So it's like you really got to kind of examine where you stand on certain things. Like what is your allegiance to? You feel me? You know, what are you signing up for? What exactly do you represent? What do you represent? Do you represent yourself? Or do you represent your ancestors? Because your ancestors represent you, whether you represent them or not. Right? That's your chance. That's your choice and your chance. You know what I mean? And what did you represent? What did your ancestors represent? Okay? Well, that's the fucking question, my nigga. That's what you need to answer. Because everything has a beginning, yes? Even what is new started at some point. So you track it back to your mama's mama's mama. She didn't serve that God you serving, yo. Not to say that she didn't serve the God you serving. Your God is God. Regardless of how you feel like you're gonna, you know, what path you take to serve God, right? However, be careful. Like, you feel me? Like, as to what it is that you really are deciding and what you stand on and what you representing.
Okay.
Right? Are you representing life? Because God is life.
Let it be special.
Right? Your creation is life, and life is growth. Right? So every fucking ideology fucking, you know, talks to and speaks to you know, healthy systems and operations, or healthy fucking activities, healthy mind states, healthy rhythms and patterns, and curriculums and like I said, activities, structures, healthy structures, and it may not always be so apparent as far as where you can comprehend the purity in it, you know. However, it's all about your intention too, you know. Like, you can't use good to do evil. You can't use good to do evil, but you can use evil to do good, though. Okay? You can't use good to do evil. You can't. But you can use evil to do good, though. Right? It's all about your intention. You know what I mean? And it's not about using it, it's about your approach and really your perspective, and you not, you know what I mean, not accepting something that is an illusion as the reality. And there's never no reason for you to do that unless you are lost in your own feelings about it, basically. Unless you're using it as a justification so as to, you know what I mean, explain away, or to nullify, or to, you know what I mean, to satisfy basically your insecurities, your frustrations, your, you know what I mean, your, you know, your frustrations and whatever, to justify your, you know what I mean, your confusion, you know, your hang up, whatever it is, your imbalance, to justify your imbalance. Okay? Simply put, you know. So that's another good way to keep it in perspective, to keep it in order. It's like, is it balanced? Is it, you know what I mean? Is it fair? You know what I mean? Does it have harmony? You know, where can you find the harmony in it? You feel me? Where can you find the truth in it? You know, the truth is not gonna hide long. You know what I mean? The truth will always come to the light eventually. But if it's a reflection of the light, then it's only surface, and you can't jump into it and swim around, and you can't drink it either. You can just look at that shit. Right? Because what's pure is gonna wash you. Right? It's gonna replenish you. It's gonna nourish you. You know what I mean? you're gonna grow with that purity, with that water. You know what I mean? With that reflection, it's only gonna remind you of the temporary. You feel me? It's gonna actually make things even more temporary. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's always temporary now. You know what I mean? Like you get a photograph, nigga. Like I said, that one moment where you passed and the person you couldn't see the person no more. That's not even if you was to come back, the moment after you passed that frame, that's not the same reflection person. You know what I mean? Like the imagination is powerful, bro. The imagination is just that powerful is all I'm saying. Like, right? If you can envision anything in your mind and it becomes so, from a painting to a architectural design, yeah, it may take whatever else to build upon it, but they gonna build upon these blueprints that are these reflection people, okay? That's what they doing with this virtual reality bullshit, yo. With this quasi, you know what I mean, space travel sort of teleportation. You don't need no machine to teleport, bro. Especially if they can figure out a way to do it with fucking tangible mechanics. There's no higher technology than the brain, homie. Any technology that can do anything, whether it be remote, cellular, fucking cyber, is all fashioned after your brain, bro.
The reflection.
And that's the facts, dog. I was listening to 90 Keys, and we was talking to a person about the other 92 or 85% of your brain that's not used. They say we only use so much percentage of our brain capacity or immensity. That's the part that I'm telling you, like, that means that the technology that we even have now, my nigga, is failing to even be as powerful as it could be, bro. Like, and it's powerful. They gonna make teleportation, dog. They already got time machines, my nigga. They already got time machines, bro. Now, I can't say that, but I know in my heart that it's probably more possible. I ain't seen one, but I ain't gonna even say that I ain't seen one, because I don't know what the fuck I didn't see, my nigga. Because they done already made doors with windows on them, my nigga. Because there's already countless of other reflection me's in this fucking illusion world, my nigga. That's trapped in there, bro. Soon as it passed that frame, bro. This is reality, bro. Just because you ain't thinking about it is for another thing. Any other one brain with a angle on how to conceptualize in regards to it is then now controlling it, man, and controlling the fucking impact, the potential, you know what I'm saying, magic of it, my nigga. And that's reality, bro. And that's why I'm saying, and that's not why I'm be thinking, and that's not what makes me right. However, I've seen to where just haphazardly just doing something fun to do and feeling the potential, you know, magic of it, and even thinking to do it while writing it and afterwards and before and reciting it and learning and memorizing it. And this is something that I can openly confess, openly admit to, openly express, openly accept, and I cannot deny when I say that when you have a particular angle on the ignored potentiality of the subconscious mind, i.e. minds, because even your subconscious mind is your own pool, your own well that is drafting from the universal all mind, which is all energy and all consciousness anywhere, even within or outside of this universe, right? Whether you can see it with your eyes or not, right? You can feel it. You can feel it in your soul, unless you distract it by these surrounding images, which you can't help but have to be, especially if you grow up becoming accustomed to that being your go-to. That, you know what I'm saying? That being what you rely on. Like that being your first and last thing that you do. We used to have to draw, nigga, if we wanted to see cartoons. We had no cable. We go to the neighbor house to see TV. We ain't got no electricity. You want to see cartoons? Here goes some crayons, nigga. Disneyland? Then you better go to take your ass to the park, nigga. And don't pick up no crack pipes. Cause you really gonna lose your mind then, trying to be grown.
Go to the river, go to the river, go to the river, go to the river. Okay.
And I ain't going to the park with you. I'm over here, I got to work. So I can get these lights on. In this box that we paying to live in.
Let it be special, be special, be special, be special.
Okay? So that's what I'm saying. It's different times. It's very, very different times, and it's moving so fast. It's faster than fast. It's faster than time, which time is only as another box. Time is another box, right? Now, it's connected outside to different all type of shit outside the box, and then that determines what's happening inside of the box of time, right? So, but at the same time, now that if we get to doing shit inside this box, that then affects what's the connection from the outside, and through the connection it then affects the outside, and then the effect of the outside then returns and cycles back to the connection, maybe a different connection or the same connection, and then the box, what is going on inside this box at time is changing, and that's what we see in these boxes that we got in our head.
The reflection.
That's being shown. That's what's being shown to us. Is the shadows. Right? We seeing these vivid shadows, bro. These bright shadows, nigga. This is a shell, bro. It's a reflection. That's a shadow. You know what I'm saying? Right? So it's just like in how you just approach it. And as long as you keep it in perspective, like, you feel me? Like, and that's just the way I'm, you know what I mean? That's just what make me try to see that when I'm seeing it in a way. I'm just looking at it in a way, like, what happened to the homie? Like, what happened? I'm talking about me in that reflection fucking window, right? You can do a magic spell, and then you can build a door out of some trees in the woods, nigga. And if you know the right words to say, you walk through that fucking door, and it becomes a portal, my G. And that's facts, bro. If you don't know nobody that can do it, that don't mean that there ain't nobody that can do it. And ain't doing it. Okay? This is facts, bruh. So what's the difference? Them words that, you know what I mean? That, you know what I'm saying? That conjuring, that ceremony, nigga, is the difference, dog. And best believe it's happening, homie. And that's exactly what's happening. Right? And that's just something that I feel in my mind or in my heart. So that's what the whole point I was talking about. Even when I sit to write some shit, I'm pulling from my imagination, you know what I mean? Just all possibilities. Like, say for instance, because I didn't thought about all type of shit. Like, you know what I mean? As far as like what I would want to see the world as, what I would want to see just in general, like what would be dope as far as the dimension. Like, you know what I mean? I got ideas for all type of crazy movies and shit, but and that's all writing too, you know what I mean? And what's cool is like, you write it down. Are you thinking about it? Oh, it could be, or are you saying, oh, this is definitely pretend, because it's going to be different writing when you write it forward, when it's definitely like a pretend, like when it's hypothetical rather, you know what I mean? This is intentionally hypothetical, right? Then it's in its own box then. But if you feel me, like you keeping that sort of feeling, like that sort of energy, the hypothetical, the theoretical, but you're keeping everything honest, like like it's the truth at the same time. My nigga, that's power within power, bro. Which power is inner beauty, yes. I read, yes. And we said freedom was what else? Freedom was, of course, you know, being able to operate without, you know, well, I said that already. We already said what freedom was, but you know, what is power? Power is energy, for one. We said what power is. Power is energy. And that's all fucking power is. Power is a reference to energy. Okay? It's your capture of, it's how you gonna, you know, pretend that you done captured some power. No, you just are bending light is all the fuck you doing, nigga. Whether it be through your words, through your thoughts, or through your actions with your hands, because you done built a fucking square ass trap, nigga. Real shit. Is what power is. Is energy, yes. What's power without energy? Is energy without power. Ain't it? Nigga, you don't plug that light in, nigga, that electricity still exists, nigga. So what's power? Is somebody building some power lines is what power is, nigga. Power ain't shit. Power is this dick in your jaws is what power is, nigga.
Okay. What's wrong with y'all?
In the Bible, right? They say, beware the heart is treacherous. You know, the heart is treacherous because, of course, it's trusting. You know, like, your heart is what make you have compassion, right? It gives someone the benefit of the doubt to where you don't want to accuse them. You know what I mean? Your compassion makes it to where you feel a way, you know, you don't feel comfortable accusing, you know, or, you know what I mean? Because to accuse means that you're assigning a wrong to something. You know what I mean? You want to be able to assign a good, you know, a virtue to something. And that's another way that the heart can be treacherous, because you can assign virtue. That's what the heart does. It assigns virtues. You could be assigning something as virtuous that is, in fact, vicious. Right? Somebody could be lying to you and just, you know, because of their heart or your heart. That's why they say you got a good heart. Anybody tell you got a good heart? What the fuck do you mean? I got a good heart. What else is the heart other than good? Like, and what type of nigga got a bad heart? And who are you to say that my heart is good? And what should my heart be if it shouldn't be good? Like, thank you for saying that, but it's like, does it take another good heart to recognize a good heart? No, it does not. Two good hearts are just going, you know what I'm saying? They just have virtuous trust between each other. And it's not going to be, you know, abnormal for you to operate trustingly and, you know, and integrally and with virtue, right? But it's like a nigga tell you you got a good heart. I mean, what you trying to say? What is he trying to say? You trying to say that I'm gullible? And that's what they're saying, basically. And that's why the heart is treacherous, because it is gullible. It's trusting. You know what I mean? And that's the danger. That is the caution, right? It's just next to fear and just next to love, the heart, right? Is the next step, right? It's between the both, right? It's actually the connection between love and fear is right here, that trust, right? As far as the heart, though, and us being good-hearted people and true-hearted, and the true-hearted ones, right? You got the pure-hearted and you got the true-hearted. Yes. And when I speak of the pure-hearted, I'm talking about the virtuous, the naturally virtuous. The pure-hearted, the ones that don't taint their own soul by allowing themselves to be influenced or, basically influenced by improper thoughts, improper decisions, improper influences, or, you know what I mean, improper direction, you know. They follow their first mind, they follow their conscience, they listen to them, to their better judgment all the time. And then what makes them pure-hearted? No, it's just that they haven't allowed their spirit, their essence to be corrupted by emotions, basically. You know what I mean? By feeling ways, whether it's happy or sad, you know, they just remain pure. They just keep it copacetic. They keep it 100. You know what I mean? They keep it universal. You know, because heart is the will. Heart is the will, right? When you have the heart to do something, we're speaking of the will. The will itself is the heart. That's where the will resides, within your heart. Now, when you have a pure heart, that means that your will is your intention is pure. You know? Like, you do things for the love and the beauty of doing it, not for whatever sort of added effect or result or objective, but the very experience in itself. You know what I mean? It's pure, and that is not tainted by expectations, by conditions, by by intention. You know what I'm saying? It's purely, the intention is pure. You know what I mean? It's not even tainted by the intention, your intent. Meaning that it's probably most connected to that impulse, to that intuition, as opposed to intention. Right? And it's purely source. You know what I mean? Purely derives from source, that will. You know what I mean? Because the assignment and the exercise, the practice, the objective, the overall universal objective is aligning divine will, which is pure consciousness, with your will, right? Which is your own conscience, right? So that's your heart. Your conscience is your heart, right? So conscience is your heart. But the true-hearted, right, are the trusting, right? The true-hearted is that those that will compromise their own better judgment, their own intuition, in the interest of seeing it through, in the interest of, and in the trust and belief and faith in the truth, knowing that the truth is infallible and unbreakable, even if it has to bend, even if it needs to flip inside out and totally reverse on itself, on its own head, before it can be irrefutable to whoever else want to try to front and try to see how true-hearted you are, or good your heart is, or how much you're going to not have your heart be tainted by emotional reactions. This is the true-hearted, right? Those who put their heart on the line in the name of everybody, right? In the name of the truth, in the name of love, because love is the truth. Balance, love, order, love, beauty, love, law, love, truth, balance,
love, truth, beauty, peace, law, order, harmony. True-hearted ones understand there's levels, fluctuations, right? I'm talking about a warrior spirit, true-hearted. Because you got pure-hearted, and you got the true-hearted. You know what I'm saying? It take a true heart to be a pure heart, because now you're not compromising, basically. You know what I mean? It take courage. It take, you know what I mean, that risk factor, the benefit of the doubt being that you're trusting that to do the best thing is the better thing. No matter what that means. And that's a protection in itself. You know what I mean? Because that's the light, the purity. Right? But even darkness is just a different degree of light. And that's where the true come in. And we are true hearts. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they want to try to test that in us. And when I say we, I mean the man, human talent. Can't help but be until you become less than what you are. Below that. You know what I'm saying? Trapped, you know what I mean, locked in this image of yourself. You know, your true nature, your higher nature, your pure nature, your truer self, is trusting that if it's going on, then it's for a reason. And if it can only go on for as long as it doesn't need to for so long, and you're trusting that, since you're trusting it, that will protect you, right? And that's noble, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I see. And that's what is, and that is another element. That's another aspect. When we, you know what I mean? When we clutch and cling on to these, you know, historical truths or whatever, you know, what's presented as knowledge and law, but you know, they, you know, you know in your heart too, though. You know what I'm saying? You got that gut feeling. You know what I mean? The heart is also the stomach, the gut, that instinct, you know, intuition, instinct. You know what I mean? Intention. You feel me? And intellect, or rather, as far as, you know, basically your intellect. You know, your intuitiveness, which is your intuition, but at the same time, you got like, you know.
Because you have intellect, or the intellect, intellectuality,
Intellectualism.
and then you have intelligence. Yes. You have the intellect, or you have intellect, and then you have intelligence. Intellect is what you know about what you know. Intelligence itself is information, data, you know, hard facts. As we already examined, that a fact can be, in fact, false. You know, just and that's what you call false knowledge. The two sides of knowledge, though, is what you know about what you know, and then, of course, the accumulated information of which you know, commit to your memory. Because to know it is to remember it, to think of it intellectually or intelligently is to be learning it. Yes, and once you commit it to the memory, then you accept it as either fact or not. But the determining factor of your accepting a fact as factual is your intellect. It is to think smart. It is to have a soul sense, even about your mental considerations. You know what I mean? That's your compass. Because sometimes you can lead yourself to accept or believe or consider something to be more valid than it deserves to be, or for you to deserve to see it as, for it deserves you to see it as. What you see, your perception is your intelligence. How you see it, your perspective, is your intellect. We conceptualize, we contemplate. Contemplating is intelligent. Conceptualizing is intellectual. You can conceptualize intelligently, sure, but it's usually more of a quality of intellectualism or your intellect. You can contemplate with your intellect. Conceptualizing perspectively with your intellect. Contemplating perceptively through your intelligence.
You know, and that's what the gut's connected to, is the all-knowing, right? Beyond what you think, beyond what you want or hope or will allow to not be for long enough. You know what it is. And it doesn't always fit into the immediate surrounding situation. Less and less every day, and more it doesn't. And so that's it. Returning to the full truth of it, the truth in it being revealed, purified, the truth being purified, or whatever, to its more truer nature, right? Because facts are facts, but facts change, while the truth remains. And what's left after the facts have been changed, they still facts, but it's a different fact. The same fact can be another fact. The same fact will change, making it more factual than it was before. But the only thing that remains and that is left through all the changing of the facts is the fact that it is the truth. And that's what makes it a fact, is that it is true, right? The less true a fact becomes, changes the fact. The fact in itself remains a fact, right? Or the more true that it becomes, changes the fact as to being more true of a fact, or more of a fact in that the truth of it, you feel me? It makes it even more of a fact of what a fact, you feel me? I'll give you an example. An example of a fact that changes, right? The population. Yesterday, nigga, the fact of the population, nigga, was however many people, but it's been 200 people born today, bro. So the population is the fact. The very nature of that fact changes every moment. The fact that the fact was one number yesterday is also a fact related to the fact that it's no longer the same fact, but it is the same fact. You dig what I'm talking about? And the only thing that makes it even factual at all is that it has to be truth. Okay? So that's just one simple example, bro. Right? As far as the heart, though, we trust that we'll be able to, the truth will be revealed, you know what I mean, eventually. And if it satisfies enough people or enough hearts and love and life for us to operate as if something is true that isn't, then it will only be revealed through us living through it. They moving quick, man. That's why it's important to be pure-hearted and not become tainted and corrupted by emotions, by our reactions, by what we want to be true. But we know we see definitely ain't never been true. Right? It's lives connected to it. But as a pure heart, we gotta stand on that law. You know what I mean? We gotta stand on that law because that's life in itself. You know what I'm saying? The law of nature. Nature is life. Nature is the only law. Is the only law. Nature is the only law. And life is alive. It's movement. It's action in itself. Creation. Life is creation. Life is creation is action. Action is creation. Creation is action. You know what I'm saying? And action is movement. And movement is alive. And alive is life. And Rudy Wap. And that's the cycle. So it's like when it comes to law and the law of nature and law and life, or rather law and order and truth and peace and harmony and balance, all also being love and love being life, you know, out of love for life and in the name of love for life, that light is the gauge. As far as the purifying, you know what I'm saying? That's how you purify, is through the light. They say pure darkness, huh? Well, that's a whole nother term right there. You know? And so our true heart says it has to be one thing or the next, this or that or this. You know, the very men, evil or not, you know what I mean? Either they evil or the evil is, they the ones created. They the ones that evil or the evil is, they the ones created. They the ones that label it. The very ones perpetuating the most evil are the ones that even tell you what the evil's supposed to be. You know what I mean? They want to explain the origin of it while perpetuating it. You know? And that's just the situation. You know? And so our true hearts want to give them the benefit of the doubt on face value and in trust of truth, with faith in love, faith in man, really, not even just God, but in that we can, you know, grow through this, and that in the nature of men is not all heinous and not, you know, all not destructive and not corrupted in itself, and that there is a, you know, a seed or kernel a trace of hope, of trust, of respect, that to still be nurtured, to still be fucking salvaged in humanity in itself. Because it's like, no matter how the fucking shit, no matter how the fucking shit happen, it's up to us, this new generation, the future generation, the most current and present population in society, to do with it what the best thing, to do the best thing with it. And see, as far as like, extracting, the light, or the light out of it, so as to shine back on the light that's shined on it. And that's one purpose, and that's one function. Also to universally draw or angle the light of truth back at it too, or at different parts of it, at the different parts of the same facts. You know what I mean? But yeah, our true heart says, it's all for a reason. They said it is what it is, or what it was supposed to be, for a reason. They got that story from somewhere. And so we will see. You know what I mean? We gonna see regardless. The pure heart that does not deny our inner knowing, our all-knowing, it's either going to be defeated by that true heart, or they're going to merge to where, because there's an element of true-heartedness and pure-heartedness, and there's an element of pure-heartedness and true-heartedness, right? But the true heart is treacherous, they say, right? It's treacherous because, of course, now you're taking the risk of being wrong, because there's a difference between true, false, and right and wrong, right? You got good and bad, but what the fuck is evil, right? And what's the opposite of evil, right? Heart is the will. Heart is the will. When you have the heart to do something, we're speaking of the will. The will itself is the heart. That's where the will resides, within the heart. I mean, your will is your intention. It's pure. So your pure heart says, you do things for the love. It's either this or it isn't. Or rather, your true heart says it's either this or it isn't. Right? It can be this or not this, or something completely different. That's what your true heart says. Your pure heart says there's only one way to find out. Or there's one of two ways to find out. To wait, or to see and make sure for yourself. Okay? Now, there's an element of waiting involved with finding out as a whole. One, because of course, you don't know if you're in heaven until you're there. But if you don't expect to be in heaven, even if you don't end up in heaven, then the you you're leaving behind is trapped in the not knowing. For one, that's the element of the waiting and the beauty of doing it. All right, that's what your book will tell you. You need to wait until you already in your soul and left your body to even find out if you in heaven. Right? So, and if you walk around expecting to go to heaven, then you probably got some sort of chip on your shoulder. You probably feeling more righter than the next nigga for whatever fucking reason. Right? Which is improper and gay. When, who's to say other than somebody else that you follow? Other than yourself? God is to say yes. He's saying it though. You know what I'm saying? It's being said before the final say. Okay? Whatever the final say is going to be based on all the different confirmations through your life, my nigga. And confirmations ain't you knowing a part of whatever element of this doctrine clearer or, quicker than the next person. It ain't, you know what I'm saying? You doing more than the next person. It's not you being able to prove anything to anyone else. Okay? It's what you know in your heart. You can be delusional, but even if you think you know something in your heart, you either know it or you don't know it. Right? That's the bridge between the heart and the brain. You know what I mean? You can convince yourself that you know something in your heart, nigga, but you either know it or you don't. And then you ain't gonna know it if you ain't got no reason to know it. If you ain't got no business knowing it in your heart, then in the back of your mind, that's something that you're denying, that you're lying to yourself about. Right? There ain't no mystery. It's just that now, how are you gonna operate in this current time, in this present time, in the now factor? You know what I mean? How does it apply? What all connects to it and what does it connect to? Well, it connects to your heart, which is your will. Saying? So as far as doing, what is your intentions? Are your intentions pure? Are your intentions true? You know what I'm saying? What is your motive? Where's your allegiance? Where are your allegiances? You know? You can play with it. You can balance it. You can teeter it enough for it to lean towards whatever it's going to lean to, and then go from there, or continue from there. If you can handle it. But it's treacherous. You know what I'm saying? If you can handle it. No, because like either they know the difference or they don't. And if so, why would they do all of that? Right? Well, our true heart says, a lie is because a lie is only a lie if you believe it. The truth is only a threat to those that are lying to themselves. We have to say to ourselves, it either is what they say or it isn't. But we also have to ask ourselves, why would we go on their word? Why would we take another person's word for it to begin with? To be honest, unless we lying to ourselves to begin with. Anytime you would allow anyone else's word to trump your own is when you can't trust yourself. Right? As far as that heart, and the treacherous heart, and the treacherous trusting heart. And then that pure heart is what is going to say to you, there's a way of knowing without having to assume, without having to guess, without belief, without having to have faith. I mean, not that you don't have to have faith. You always want to have faith, but out relying only on faith. Right? there's a way to know. However, when it comes down to in this tangible, direct setting, that's when you run into these issues, right? Where you going to be at when you have those thoughts? Who you going to even talk to about it? And who and how you going to look not talking to people about what it is they talking to you about? You know what I mean? So there's no way for you even to disguise it, for you to, hide the truth. There's no way for you to hide the truth, because unless you are, you are true-hearted and you're able to, allow it to teeter until it can and continue from where it ends up, which takes more time, takes more energy, so as to incorporate the different, elements, the related elements, in the interest of harmony, you know what I'm saying? In the interest of, adaptability, or really harmony, you know what I mean? But what's most harmonious is going to be what's ordered, you know what I mean? What is in order, you know what I mean? What is, also going to be, you know what I mean? And that's how you kind of move through it, maneuver through peace and maneuver through love and truth and law and order, is through the points, you know what I mean? The sides of it, each of these all add to the full element of it. They all stand alone, but together they're most complete. And that's why I was mentioning, and that's why our ancestors put it in place. The goddess Ma'at, right, which is the mother and the son, At being son, and the Ma being the mother. You feel me? Because ain't no man to tell you a fucking thing for you to believe or not to believe that don't come out of a woman. And what is she saying? She's saying, trust truth enough to allow whatever is being said to be true or not. Is what she says, right? Trust truth enough so as to allow whatever is being said, whoever got enough time on their hands and whatever interest or, hidden ulterior motives, to say some shit that they know niggas gonna bleed behind, just for it to either be true or not over time. Allow that. But that's not stopping you from knowing. The only thing stopping you from knowing, is not doing. The only thing stopping you from knowing is lying. Because people say this. Because people say this and that, and this about this, and that about that, and that about this, and this about that. You can say that and this and that. And it takes that being true-hearted, about being pure-hearted. Because we come to these realizations before, and what's cold is about the fear. It's like we go, we keep it as far away from ourselves. We keep the truth as far away from ourselves so that we can notice everything otherwise, other than the truth, on the way back to the truth. Because it's always going to be, there's something you can depend on. The truth is so reliable that you can hide it from yourself. And it's inevitable that you'll find it eventually. And we trust the truth in that the truth is what we are able to be able to shine light on, right? The fact is the truth. Or rather, the light is the truth, but the fact is what we shine the truth on, basically. as far as the facts go. And the facts are only applicable and relevant relatively, based on, and surrounding whatever sort of context is approached or considered. Because one fact is another fact from another perspective. For example, I love hip hop. That's a fact, right? But I think hip hop is actually rap, right? What I love is rap, but I'm telling you, oh man, I love hip hop, right? But you don't know that I think that rap is hip hop. So I'm telling you, if I say, and you have an idea of what hip hop is, right? You know, hip hop is MCing. You know what I mean? It goes back to all the way back to breaking and graffiti, and hip hop is involving more than just, popularized, fucking club trap songs or whatever, right? I say I love hip hop because whatever reason I say I love hip hop, because I see hip hop as that as well, because hip hop is also that too. Hip hop is broad. And that's just basically what I'm saying. Like, the truth is broad. Not like hip hop is the truth or the truth is hip hop, but hip hop is definitely the truth. And the truth is absolutely hip hop. But that's not all either one of them are. You know what I mean? It's not all it is. And even in whatever it is, that's not all it is all I'm saying, as far as the truth. As far as the facts. One fact isn't the full truth of whatever you're shining the truth on. Right? So as far as, you know what I mean? And we come to these realizations before, but it's so crazy in society and humanity to where it's like you ignore the obvious. You know what I mean? It's like you kind of go out your way to let the first thing you want be the last thing that you think of. Because we already got enough to deal with in front of us. To keep having to remember, to think of what should go without, without saying, which that's the truth, it goes without saying. So that's why I say, even in just speaking, you're automatically speaking the truth unless you are telling somebody you're lying. How would they even know that it's not the truth? Because they expect for you to be lying? Well, that's the whole problem. That's what I'm telling you. As far as even just with society. We expect everything to be a lie at this point. You gotta prove the truth before you have to prove that it's a lie. Right? You're guilty before proven innocent as opposed to innocent before proven guilty. First off, regardless. A nigga is definitely guilty before proven innocent as opposed to innocent before being proven guilty. You can prove a nigga innocence and still be treated like you're guilty, even for the accusation, even for the whole situation. Your fucking innocence can be beyond doubt, but the fact that a nigga even had to question your innocence will make it as bad as if you was guilty, cuz, at this point. Because they feel like everything's a lie anyway, so it's like the whole context and the fact of the matter is completely twisted and inside out, to where it's like, if you got caught almost being connected with some shit, then you might as well be guilty in this motherfucker. Because it's like, otherwise, nigga, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be a secret if the truth. The truth is basically a secret now. Right? And anytime that, you know what I mean? And that's the whole idea, like, because there's more to it. And now we've taken face value for truth. So now the truth can only be a secret because the way we even interpret it, the way we even approaching it, the way we're used to identifying it is incomplete and based on a lie to begin with, right? Because we come to these realizations in our minds, in our hearts. We come to these realizations. We have pure-hearted collections and points in our life, but we look around and what led us to that point has changed. It's magically just fucking just, it's not there this one time. You got this thought. You following it through on that hunch, on that intuition, that pure heart hunch, gut feeling. For whatever reason, you're usually able to talk about anything with the person you trust the most, that you respect the most, respect his mind and intelligence and knowledge the most. The moment you have this idea, gone. Nigga ain't nowhere to be found, right? Just randomly, just ironically. It always happens like this. It always happens like this. And so it takes you having to fight unnaturally, because naturally you're gonna let it go. You trust, because there's an element of the true heart in the pure heart. You trust that for it to be as raw as it is, for it not to be able to be complete, because it's complete before it even starts. It's finished before it even starts. But we're in this situation, we're in this context, we're now in this, you know what I mean, this surrounding, this, you know what I mean, this conditioned, reality, this conditioned reality. But you got truth and you got reality. Right? And reality is relative, but the truth is universal. Right? We're in this conditioned reality to where we can have a pure thought, but it's designed to tackle, to diffuse the pure moments in the name of the fuller spectrum of the truth, right? As opposed to the benefit of the truth is one thing, the power of the truth is one thing, but what about the uselessness of the truth? The fact that the truth is all that there is, so what is there to even focus on to begin with? Right? Something can be true, but so what? It is what it is. Life is life. Just live. Just fucking live. Don't lie. Live. Put the V in. You know what I'm saying? And when you start to lie, then it makes it to where now you gotta purify. That's all you would be doing anyway. Is evolving, purifying, you know what I'm saying? And reflecting. Light on light. You feel me? Shining, gleaming, glowing, knowing. But because for you to know, it takes you now, not ever not knowing. Because some things you learn, you never forget, bruh. Some things, some truths, some aspects of the truth, some fuller, more developed and advanced areas of the truth you come into knowledge about, whatever the context is, however it applies to whatever sort of mechanism that has tapped into this particular degree of reality, of truth, of fact. You don't forget it. You're not gonna forget the shit. Okay? You'll forget your name before you forget this shit. Okay? Now, we supposed to be having that happening to where we learning more and more and realer and truer. But that doesn't happen. In fact, what happens is the times that are most powerful, most connected, are disarrayed, are mixed all in now. And it can't help but like meet at the different bent for fucking corners and edges. So the very moment where your idea will then communicate and activate another person's idea that they had about something, but somebody else wasn't around, having the idea that you're having at the moment wasn't around for them to be able to build on it, and they forgot it. Because it was unnatural for nobody else to be around if they was having an idea, because what led them to the idea was other people being around talking about the opposite of what it would be that somebody needed to be around to be talking about. Is the shit that be happening, yo. But it takes you, first of all, thinking. You have to think. You have to return to those moments. And it takes a lot of times extra thinking, because now you done buried the very first thought as the last thought, yo. Under all these empty ass, nigga, non-relevant ass, you know what I'm saying, indiscriminate ass thoughts and ideas or considerations, yo. You know what I mean? Aspects of the facts and shit, like, you feel me? Lies, really, low key. You know what I'm saying? Because every element, every truth has at least an element of a lie to it. Something is only fact to the degree that it isn't fact or truth. You know what I'm saying? As far as when we speaking of the truth or referring to the truth, because the truth is taboo. The truth is, it goes without saying. It's not going to change. So what really are we even, what is the discussion around it? To be, you know what I'm saying? Other than what we're going to use towards our benefit to, you know, towards our advantage in whatever sort of, you know what I mean, context or category or condition. You feel me? That's the situation, right? And so our pure hearts come to these realizations. Our true hearts bring us back to the realizations, or remind us that we want to, of the different pure-hearted sort of knowings that we need to confirm, or that we are basically burying in accepting anything else that actually isn't so, right? Because we say to ourselves, right? Like, what is evil, right? Like, what is evil, right? Exactly, what is evil? Pure darkness, nigga, what is evil? Pure dark, that's what evil is. It's pure darkness. You know what I mean? It's more and more bad, nigga. It's the worst. That's what makes it pure darkness, is that it is evil, my nigga. Right? And that it ain't even trying to not be bad. Okay? Right? They don't even gotta try to be fucking bad, my nigga. The very nature of it is wrong. Is what evil is. Which is incorrect. Which is untrue. Non-factual. Is evil. Wrong, yes. Incorrect, yes. Untrue, yes. Evil. So, we say, what the fuck is evil, cuz? Right? They try to tell you what it is. They got a name for it and all that. Right? But evil in itself is untruth. So how could it be anything? For one. Especially anything that you could say that it is, you feel me? I mean, not to say that it's not. All I'm saying is, what the fuck is it, right? Where does it come from? We have to say, in our true-heartedness, you know what I mean? Benefit of the doubt that, you know, we want to be able to trust that, we would have to consider and have to realize, as well as accept, we have to come to terms with that evil would have to exist. It would have to be operating through men, right? It would have to be operating through men, right? Not to say that there are any whatever group of men that are evil. For whatever reason, you know, they would be evil, or a group of men would be evil, would be based on the existence of evil. The existence of evil. Okay? Now, this is something we have to trust. That this evil is operating, yes? Right? And whatever they say it is, we have to take it for face value. We have to accept it as to at least being what it is that whoever is saying, whatever it is they're saying it is, or it isn't. And that takes knowledge in itself. That takes investigation in itself as to all the things that it has been understood to have been. All of the things that it hasn't even been thought of that it could be, based on what other men have said, and all that extra shit. Right? But our true hearts trust that it's all for a reason, right? It's all for a reason. Right? And we trust that down the line through the historical traditions and through our lineages and customs and family beliefs and values that we trust, even though evil operates, that the truth will eventually emerge. You know what I'm saying? The truth will inevitably emerge and surface from the last thing you would think of, right? It takes that warrior spirit, true heart, so as to keep track and beat the odds and beat the configurations and components and conditions, so as to where when we are having those moments of clarity, like Jay-Z say, hip hop fucking artist Jay-Z, moment of clarity, fantastic song. I do believe he must have won the Grammy for that album. When we have those moments of clarity, that we have these other pure-hearted moments in the closest proximity as possible, so as for them not to become more diluted and tainted in the travel between those connections being made. Because it's all relevant to everyone. I mean, if it was just personal, then it would just be, individual. But it's not an individual thing, because there are people in groups, right? There are collected groups of people following one thing or the next thing, right? As to what is possible and what is not possible. There's different shapes and colors as well as styles and understandings of that. But even of what evil is in itself, right? You would have to assume or accept it to be one thing or the next. We would have to understand that it operates through man or it doesn't, right? Something is going on, though, on a larger spectrum.
Check. Chickadee churr. Alright, yeah. Alright, I guess I'll just go ahead and tell you. I'll just go ahead and tell you what it is. Alright? Yeah, man. Something happens when a person dies violently. Okay? I'm gonna just put it to you quite simply. Yes, not only is death unnatural, murder is unnatural. Is it not? Well, they say that the first sinful humans killed each other, yes? That was the first death was a murder. The very first death in itself was a murder, yes? And those were the first, those are the, now imperfect, these are imperfect humans, yes, who murder each other, yes? Well, this is after this book was written, okay? Now, there were advanced civilizations, far advanced than all civilizations to follow before this book was written that says this, yes? Okay, now, these particular people, of course, the advanced civilizations, the original people, weren't murderers, fam. It wasn't, you know what I mean? We wasn't just busting nuts having babies by accident. Okay, so it wasn't too many people. There wasn't all these extra people to have to worry about if we gonna murder or not. Okay, for one. Secondly, you lived, right? Life was for living, not for surviving, not for fighting. Okay, and you can still fight without murdering a motherfucker, yo. Is another reason. And you can still fight without murdering a motherfucker, yo. The only reason you have to murder somebody is because you're anti-life, anti-matter to begin with. You can win a fight without killing, homie. Guns did not even exist until long after this book was written. However, the very book press in itself came after the gun was made. Right? So you had this information circulating amongst these murderers even before they made it readily available to those, of course, they were murdering, because they weren't even murdering each other. They was murdering the groups of people that they were then deceiving. I don't want to say deceiving. They were influencing. They were leading, so to speak. They were supposed to be protecting, supposed to be loving them, but they was loving them in their own special way. You know what I mean? In a very nasty, dirty, violent, survival type way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, love is love. It is what it is. And I'm sure, you know what I mean, they might have murdered some people that they loved. I'm sure. For whatever the fuck reason. It is what it is. And they had guns before they even had books, before they even had the printing press, nigga. The gun existed before the printing press even fucking existed, nigga. Okay? But even before whatever information, they decided to eventually mass produce so as to become common knowledge and common practice and common law. There was writing being done. And even before the writing that was being done, there was thinking being done. Advanced thinking, far advanced thinking than any writing can capture or describe to you. Okay? There was singing happening. There was music happening. There was living happening. Not dying. Okay? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? In fact, I'm not even going to go there, but like I already just said to you, and as I begun this thing, death is unnatural. Even in the book that they wrote, niggas was living 500, 700,000 of years in that book. Right? Now, why would they write all of that for? That don't even make no sense. That don't even make no sense. The people, the very people who even wrote it wasn't living 500 years. Right? Because they would have record of that. They would have a record of the person's birth. You know what I mean? They would be able to dig up his bones and do tests on his DNA if that was the case. Right? So, what I'm saying to you is, though, yeah, man, when a person dies violently, there's something that happens different, okay, than if he would have naturally just passed away as he deserved it, as he would have deserved it to have lived his life anyway, right? His mama brought him into the world. Why is anybody else taking him out the world? Right? So, when a person dies violently, though, there's something that happens, right? Scientifically. When a person dies in fear, or a person's life energy is stripped, is snatched, as opposed to naturally dissipates in whatever sort of process, it leaves these remnants, I would say so. Right? It leaves these different, you know what I mean, sporadic little shards that don't go nowhere except for a particular place. It goes to a particular, you know what I mean? Fucking compartment and shit, right? And what happens is it goes in. It's living through sound and light, basically, and vibrations. You know what I mean? Parts of yourself that didn't, develop all the way, that didn't mature, it's still stuck in the light and in the sound. And what happens is, right, like, what you believe and what you entertain, being that the imagination is so powerful, right? You can have an idea based on these images, like all these horror movies and shit, like scary ass, fear-inducing sort of, you know what I mean, traumatically shocking and horrific images, as well as ideas like torture, pain, makes it real in the world of your imagination, which is infinite, right? So where you see yourself, you have a self, right? You have an exalted self, right? That's connected to you as you're here on earth. You have to remember yourself, though. You know what I'm saying? You have to remember yourself. You have to see yourself as yourself sees you. And that takes you doing what you came here on earth to do. Right? That exalted self is the destiny, is the actualization of your destiny. Because the actualization of your destiny is not only here on earth. It happens on earth, but through it happening on earth, it then now connects all of anywhere beyond time, space, whatever. And that's just the beginning. That's just, you know what I mean, the seed of your soul. And now if it's uprooted, because you're seeing yourself as different, you see yourself as a soul that's just got whatever sort of options based on the conditionings that's been happening, then that makes that a reality. It makes it more of a reality than it even actually is. But what you believe, don't matter if it's true or not if you believe it. And you know what I mean? It's true if you believe it, even if it's a lie. Even if it's less than what it deserves to be. Right? So our mind is the cosmos. Our consciousness is all of space. Yes? That's weird because, of course, you know, a nigga can be in space without you even realizing a nigga in space. You know what I mean? You ain't never been in space. How is your mind space? Well, that's the piece that I put at the back of my book, just in case you was wondering. A book of quotes, poetic notes, and harmonic epiphanies. In that piece, I said, if everybody here on Earth left, would the universe still exist? Right? There's been people born. There's always will be someone born. Throughout your entire lifetime, there's going to be people being born. Since you were born until you are not here, or they're consciously breathing, there's going to be people other than you alive, right? But who's to say that that's not all part of course, God's plan, and that the very fact that there are anybody even on Earth does not affect our perception of what we see the universe to be. You know what I mean? Because how would we know if it's anything else? Because we got to see it through our eyes to begin with, as humans, and as a collective human race, right? So, I mean, it's just interesting. It's interesting, right? So it's like, at the same time, though, as far as your mind and your imagination, and that being vast and even more vaster than all of anything that could exist or not exist, and also can affect what already is existing and will exist and has existed, your imagination, which is connected to your memory, which your memory is alive. And if your memory is alive, that means that even whatever is still what it was and what it is going to be, right? Beyond time, beyond infinity and eternity, which is the memory, the Akashic records, right? I'd say the Akashic records is the connection to the very start of everything. But there you have it. It's the key, yes? Your imagination. So your imagination is ultra vast, right? Now, your image of yourself is not based on what you're wearing, or what this mirror is showing you. Imagine you never seen yourself except for when you went to the river, but you don't live except for however far away from the river you live, and so you gotta walk to the river, and then you gotta get to a still body of water in order to see yourself clearly, right? You would have a different image of yourself, yo. You would see yourself based on what you do and how you affect other people around you, how you affect nature itself. You know what I'm saying? You would see yourself based on the occurrences of your everyday process and activities. Like, for instance, if you're outside and you breathing, the birds are gonna come talk to you. You know what I'm saying? You planting trees, you out here, you know what I'm saying? You fucking doing Tai Chi, you know what I mean? Doing breath work, you know what I'm saying? You might, you know what I mean? A motherfucking lion might come up and sit right next to you and shit, right? And that's gonna, you're gonna just think of yourself in a particular way, and that in itself is gonna, you know what I mean, gonna shape your vision of yourself. Your idea of yourself is how you see yourself. If there was no outward image so emphasized, you know what I mean, the image of yourself would be what you thought of yourself. The idea you have of yourself, the idea you have of yourself would be the image that you have of yourself. Be the image that you have of yourself. You know what I mean? Going to shape your vision of yourself. Your idea of yourself is how you see yourself. If there was no outward image so emphasized, you know what I mean, the image of yourself would be what you thought of yourself. Like, when else would you ever see yourself unless it was a drawing that somebody else did of you? You know what I mean? This is before photographs, which, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, you gotta understand, photographs is fun or whatever, but not really. Like, fuck is fun about a phonograph, to be honest? Right? Especially if you ain't even near and won't be there to see it for yourself. It's actually not fun. It's only evidence and shit, which makes it even less fun, you ask me. So it's like, I ain't got nothing against phonographs or whatever, but really, what the fuck is the point of a photograph, cuz? Other than to prove some shit, how you want it to be able to be proven or whatever. Like, I don't understand, like, what fashion? That's nice. Fashion is dope. But at the same time, you at a fashion show, you can see the person wearing whatever it is you would be able to see in that picture. So you don't need the photograph in order to have fashion popping off. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to really ask yourself, like, the very effect, you know what I'm saying? The impact, the effect of it is not worth the justification for it. Like, to be honest, like, that same photo can be used to, you know what I mean, to contaminate, to freaking you know what I mean, to influence negatively, which influence in itself is it's got the propensity, the potential to be negative in however it is that you utilize the influence. Right? So what I'm saying is when it's like so stationary and disconnected from the actual person, that you need the person in order to have the photograph on both ends, the person taking the photograph and the person that's being photographed. Is necessary for that photograph, but then once the photograph exists, then neither one of them people is necessary. When they was necessary to begin with, yo. But now they unnecessary. In fact, they are pointedly unnecessary in reference and in direct respects of the item, product, tangible material, object that is that photograph, homie. You know what I mean? Where we can connect the dots with photographs, with history. You know what I mean? People pass away, you know what I mean? When they live on, then we can see them. That's dope. That is very beautiful. I like that a lot. However, we could always paint it too. What's the difference between a painting and a photograph? Not very much different between a painting and a photograph, to be honest. It really ain't. You know what I mean? That shit, if you're gonna paint it, you might as well just do a photograph, to be honest. What's wrong with a photograph? Well, then you have to be able to see yourself outside of yourself. That's the only thing, is all I'm saying. So it's like, okay. You have an image of yourself that should expand, and that should surpass just what is seen. Is the part, and that's less emphasized, that's less, you know what I mean, that's less accepted, that's less realized, less acknowledged when we have all of these different, you know, all this imagery. We're surrounded by this imagery, let alone these different, you know, contextual sort of treatments that we are bombarded with, you know, that surround us every day. You know what I mean? From ads to our choice of entertainment, you know? It's like you can't watch a movie that they ain't make, and they ain't finna make no movie about, you know what I mean, about ballet without it having to have some type of sort of, you know, twist to it, or some type of side story that's confrontational, or some, you know, it's got a negative connotation, or some sort of pain, or somebody crying or some shit, going through some hard times and shit. Like, ain't nobody gonna watch no movie about ballet unless they do ballet. But ballet is beautiful. Even if you don't know what ballet is, it's like, it's all about the art and how you tell the story. You know, it's transition. It's about, you know what I mean, development, regardless, you know, over a span of periods of time or whatever. The points in the story, the beginning, the middle, the end. Yes, developments. It's not gotta be traumatic. It ain't gotta be horrific or whatever. But what I'm saying is, right, like, our minds is this place. It's a place, you know, and that's where we see ourselves, you know. And so what we thinking about is where, and as we think more and more every day, if our fucking thoughts are not diverse, if they don't change, if they are not, you know what I mean, universal, if they're not, you know what I'm saying, abstract thoughts, then it's like, being that your mind is your soul now is being colored. You know what I'm saying? You be clothing your soul basically with this particular outfit, with this particular fashion, when it's like, you know what I mean, over so many days of your lifetime, that's what it's going to end up being. And you only have your lifetime in order to make it what it will end up being. So the more, like, you know what I'm saying, the more times you see yourself, let alone, you know what I'm saying, let alone if it's one photograph or different photographs, every time you see that photograph, you're literally, like the Native Americans say, capturing your soul. right? To where it's now like you gotta fight that visual image just to even think of yourself in any other way outside of that. You gotta fight that visual image just to even think. Right? It's possible, but that's that one time you looked at that one photo of yourself. In any other way outside. You got a whole, you know what I mean? We got photo albums. We got fucking portfolios full of different images. Sometimes videos. Sometimes we're looking at these photos and videos repeatedly, let alone other people's photos, thinking of ourselves. At least some people do. I ain't never looked at another nigga, thought of me instead of him or her. But I don't be looking at photos like that, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, you feel me? If they got a color I like, then it might catch my eye or something, you know what I mean? But other than that, I'm still looking at the fashion and how they style is. I'm not looking at them and who they are based on the image that I'm seeing. I'm looking at, you know what I mean, the art of the composition of the actual colors in the particular image that I'm looking at. Like, and I'm gonna forget that photo. I'm gonna forget the person in the photo. No, I'm gonna forget the person in the photo. But at the same time, it's like, unless they're inviting me to be a part of their soul, then it's like, for me to make an imprint on my memory, it's kind of creepy to me. You know what I mean? Like, of course they invited me because they allow their photo to be up, but that's different. It's not, you know, you're supposed to be, it's all in how you be examining shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta understand, like, it's deeper than that. You know what I mean? Like, if we already not, you know what I'm saying, spending time with ourselves and our, you know what I'm saying, through thinking, you know what I mean, which is just your mind is your soul, right? So it's like, how do you get to know your soul? How do you, like, you know what I'm saying, how do you get familiar with your own soul other than thinking? How do you get familiar with your own soul other than thinking? Right? If we already not deep thinking, if we're already not thinking deeply, more and more and deeper, my nigga, and we sitting up looking at stationary images of ourselves, yo, that's just all the much more reversal we need to do in order to return back to the original life, the original art, quality of style, quality of true substance and essence, right? The idea of something, right? So it's like, that's the whole point. And it's deeper than, it's even more involved than just personal, right? Because we have these images of these fucking torturous dungeons and shit, and fucking, you know what I mean, murderous scenarios and shit, to where it's like, you know what I mean, you gotta watch your back no matter where you at, because at any moment there could be a murderous, fucking fiendish lunatic that just will pop up on you. Let alone the fucking, a mass shooting might pop out. You might get hit with a stray bullet for somebody that's a racist or some shit, or you know what I mean, or religious war or something. Whether you're in America or wherever else, you know what I'm saying. You could be in Brazil. They got drug wars out there. You know what I'm saying? Or you might even get kidnapped or some shit out of nowhere. That's all we see on the news, right? So that's in your mind, and that's what we're thinking of, and you connect what's possible to what's possible for you, when there's no limitations to what you can do to begin with. When there's no limitations to what you can do to begin with, right? So that's in your mind, and that's what we're thinking of, and you connect what's possible to what's possible for you. You know what I mean? We have accepted and adhere to these global sanctions, and local as well as domestic limitations and stipulations as far as like what's legal and the process of arbitration or whatever, you know what I mean, the due process of whatever sort of function, or, you know, action, corporate action with the WAP, you know what I mean. You can't even incorporate without 7 other people, right? You can't even own nothing of your own without 7 other people. If you leasing it from a bank, that's a corporation, okay? And it takes 7 people to start a corporation, okay? Okay? Even if you own land, it's a company that you bought that land from, okay? And that company had to incorporate with 7 other niggas, homie. Minimum, homie. And those people cannot change. Otherwise, the company will change, and all of its company's dealings would then be affected to a certain extent. I mean, there's ways around that. But that's as long as you keep that company up and standing and you replace that particular person. and whatever does happen with that company, if you're not able to replace that person, or even if you do replace the person and whatever dealings if it fall through with that company, another company gonna come take over its dealings and its contracts. Otherwise, them contracts is dissolved, homie. With them 7 people that dispersed, that didn't stay together. Yes, pictures are not. Pictures are not. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is, they made hell on paper, through drawings, and now through media. They made hell and demons. Because the thought of yourself trapped in pain lives beyond your life, my nigga. And that's a demon. You scared you're not gonna get into heaven. And you don't know till you get there. So that's confusion. That's uncertainty. That is doubt and worry that you leaving behind. In the atmosphere, cuz. That's hell in itself. That is the very hell they made. Right? They created it, yo. On purpose. Right? Knowing the power of word, knowing the power of the mind, so that they can have now non-physical entities to turn against actual living human beings, my nigga, who are not trapped, who haven't yet to be convinced past their earthly promise. I mean, their heavenly promise. On earth, through earth. And otherwise, nigga. Without having to say one thing or the next, yo. Is not or is. You focus on the wrong thing. Looking at too many photographs. You know what I'm saying? Allowing yourself to be captured in these 4 corners far too often. You feel me? Because ain't nothing on earth got no edges on it, homie. Got no corners, my nigga. Ain't nothing that's natural got no corners. Okay? You know, vector points, bro. Not nothing that grow naturally. Right? You got spheres, homie. And it's all beautiful. And it's all got its own image to it. And it's all got its own idea to it. So I'm just letting you know. Like, you gotta understand, like, you know what I mean? That's what it is. That's really, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying this is hell. No, life is what you make it. That's what I'm saying to you. You know what I mean? And it's hard to kind of piece it together and connect the dots, but I think you just might have been able to connect the dots right now, my nigga. Based on what I just said to you. Yes, I would imagine so, because I'm sitting here. It's nothing that I don't realize. But it's like, they feel like if it's possible, then it's your fault if you allow it to conquer you. And that's fair play. And that's what you call, you know what I'm saying? All things being fair in love and war, you know? It's definitely a war, but it's definitely all love too. Because love is a war. And the reward, the victory of love, is your soul back. You know what I'm saying? It's freedom. You feel me?
You must fight for your right to be free.
It's freedom.
You must fight. You must fight.
And the victory of war is, of course, damnation. imagination. You must fight for your right to be free. You know what I mean? You being damned to the thought of being conquered, of forfeiting, basically. Because you got surrendered and you got forfeiting. You know what I mean? Like surrendering to something that is sovereign. Surrendering is not the same idea as forfeiting. Like they say surrender in a war, it's really more like forfeiting. I wouldn't even use the same word, surrendering. It's like, yeah, well, I mean, who would want violence? You surrender into peace, not that person. So, you know what I mean? That's the whole idea. You surrender into peace. You surrender into life, not to that other person. You forfeited the war, right? But at the same time, it's not you surrendering to that person. Because that person used what? His strategy nigga, brute force, nigga. Tools, weapons, my nigga. Right? Because if you're fighting fist to fist, then you just lose. You ain't surrendering. You lose the fight. If you want to fight again, you can fight again. You know, war niggas die, my nigga. You surrender into life, bro. Who the fuck want to die because they wrong or they having a disagreement? We can easily just fight each other without weapons, without torture, without, you know what I'm saying, horror, without pictures, nigga. Just strength, nigga. Power, nigga. Real power, nigga. Which is inner beauty, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's power. It's inner beauty, bro. And that's what I'm saying to you. You gotta think, like, you gotta understand, if you're thinking of yourself as this person walk around with these clothes on, you always gonna be that. You know what I'm saying? The image you have of yourself, you holding yourself, of yourself, how do I see myself? I see myself, nigga. That's some shit that I ain't never seen, cuz, that I could never even think of, nigga. That's why I'm always, you know what I'm saying? I think I see myself as a motherfucking glorious, a new colored phoenix, nigga. As all of the universe, nigga. The universe ain't nothing but, nigga, one of my eyelashes, nigga. Is what I see, homie. What you see? What you see? Because that's what it's finna be, homie. And thank God, I praise God that I'm alive in order to still be thinking of more to see, my nigga. Because if I had passed before I could thought of it, the idea of myself will be trapped in its limited perspective and able to be conjured through other active imaginations, even down to scientifically and mathematically in a tangible form, because it's just that real and it's just that powerful. You know what I mean? And the signature of it is just that, you know, detectable and approachable, as well as accessible and activating or activatable in every fucking propensity that you could relate it to, that you know what I'm saying, pursue it with. You know what I'm saying? Just like they take and make a cell phone work, where you can then do telepathy through a device when you don't need a device to make a phone call in your mind. You can call whoever you're thinking of and they can hear what you're saying without a cell phone. But they took that technology through literal minerals from the Congo, from the very jungle itself. And whatever they did, they made, you know what I'm saying? They made a little mathematical, you know what I'm saying? The people who made the chips know what they did, even if they don't know what they did. You know what I'm saying? It's based on the brain. And I guarantee you the mechanism is likened behind or fashioned behind the organism that makes it just that much more possible and powerful, because now nobody can't tap into it. Nobody can't tap that your voice hitting somebody else's ear. They can, but that would take them being able to be real. You feel me? First, They're not gonna be able to take that shortcut through this technology, my nigga. They would have to actually harmonize like the very scientists, original scientists, and alchemists, and exorcists did in order for them to even get the information, nigga, that led them to this sneaky ass shit they doing, cheating, taking shortcuts, good? To the dark matter, nigga. So as to call these forces, homie. Right? So yeah, it's a war for sure, good. Star Wars even. Right? And that's really as raw. That's as raw as it's getting. You know, and what they want to do is elongate it. They trying to stretch it out to where now it's like in between, like you don't really know, you caught wind of some shit that made it to where now like your thoughts was opened up, kind of, to where now you thinking of yourself in these sort of contexts that all your ancestors, well, most, not all of them, but all the ones after this book was made, was thinking of themselves, and they really at the, you know what I mean, they really like in the basement, they really in the marble, they are in a in a cabinet basically, and it's like the door of the cabinet is then kind of propped open a little bit, creaked open to a certain, so you can get a slither of light in the cabinet now, because okay, you know about, because telepathy finna be possible, nigga. They finna be, you know what I'm saying, niggas gonna just start tapping into telepathy because it's happening mechanically to where it's gonna be returned to its then happening clairvoyantly again. It's already happening now, we just don't, you know what I'm saying, we just too focused on looking at the exterior images of things, I think. You know what I mean? Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, I know this girl I did telepathy with. She still ain't tell me she remember or not. I'm about to ask her again because she didn't, but then I didn't send the wrong message again now. I just sent her a message telling her something wrong and inappropriate. And if she responds to me, then I'm gonna remember that I need to keep that out of the conversation until she answered me if she remembered telepathy or not. And then when she said yes she do, then I could just say whatever it is and then take a risk of losing her, you know, her attention or her contact as a friend because I didn't said something perverted, because I'm a pervert. But she liked my perversion, and I know she liked my perversion, and if she act like she don't, then she's just fronting. But at the same time, I can just wait until she, you know what I mean, until it's not a risk that I'm taking, but I, you know, fuck it, I don't give a fuck. They be wanting you to take a risk on losing them, just to see how much it mattered to you. You know what I mean? Because see, they need to be able to depend on you handling that business, regardless of whatever switches and, you know what I mean, and twist they do, you know, whatever type of position they take on it. You know what I mean? They might get the feeling it real good, and it could go beyond just you. It's about that thing. And they can't help but have it to be that about that thing because they surrounded by, you know, all of these different, you know what I'm saying, material things going on. And it's like, hey, that's what we got each other for there, love. I remember one time we had the telepathy even by accident. Right now, I remember how we got to there, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's what I'm telling you. That's what I even talk to you about. It's like the whole world, my nigga, is afraid, yo. The only image they can have of themselves, right? Which they can have other images, but why would they ever think of anything else? Like, it's like we trust life. Not to be so suspicious of what we really should not even be accepting unless we was subconsciously suspicious about it. You feel me? Like you do stuff just to make sure it is what it can't be. Which is stupid because, like I said, what you entertain as reality makes it just that much more real, and it's just that much more proving you have to do. Which we supposed to be eternal, so you know it's understandable that you would expect to have the time to prove it, even though you're making it more true, and it takes it longer to prove that it ain't real. Eventually, and after lifetimes and lifetimes and improper ideas, us being limited in our perceptions, it'll be revealed. However, you know what I mean, that's the trick that's being played too by the ones that first presented this completely backwards ass shit on purpose, right? Just to fuck with you, just to fuck with themselves, because they not different from us. But honestly, I'm gonna tell you like this too, though. Whatever aliens is, it's not no different from us either, right? I'm gonna let you know right now, like, if the past is the future and the future is the past because all is the infinite and eternity is an instant, then the earth wasn't always here and won't always be here. And whatever does happen, even with this technology, and that's why I feel like this technology shit is inevitable, right? Or not. It may not even be this way. This may not even be the method that it ends up going, right? Because there's spaceships that exist. There's spaceships in the hieroglyphics right now. You know what I'm saying? They got spaceships depicted on the hieroglyphics, my nigga. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't go the way that it's seeming to go and through technology on Earth, and then that evolves and mutates into whatever else over time, over eons and millennia, and we actually do go into space travel and we unlock these new possibilities that make it to where now we're traversing through time and we end up being the aliens that come back in time to meet ourselves to make us even go to what we end up being. That's what I also see in my mind. There's also something I think about. It's either going to be that or whatever else. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can even get to the point to where we're this advanced sort of species of organism, whether on Earth or not, through just the technology of our mind and our souls. Also, the both can be happening. I believe the both will be happening. Either way. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, we have those that wanted that came back in time and did whatever they did to start this domino effect, and you know what I mean, in this rotation, in this circulation, and where it's leading to now. Anti-creation, anti-matter type shit, anti-matter focus, to where now they don't need to be calm. They don't have to wait. And so it's like, and that's another thing too, that I feel like, no, it's actually not natural, because the natural way is infinitely instant and not just trying to microwave, sort of materialize the, you know what I'm saying, the effects of things. And so that's why I'm like, okay, wait. Nah, yo, this is improper. This is backwards, because there's a way you can do all of this without metal, without plasma, without cyber. And that I know deep in I know that in my soul, right? It would just take you taking the time instead of the time you spend in doing otherwise, right? And I mean, you gotta ignore all these images you surrounded with. You can't even open your eyes until it's safe, nigga, at this point. Because they didn't put reflective mirror images on everything now, to where you have to see yourself. Not like it's bad to see yourself, because you can always just decide to, you know, make the effort to focus on whatever else, but that's just that extra effort, and and you ain't alone on this planet, right? There's mad people, and it's crowds of people everywhere you at. And they looking at you if you ain't fucking under a trance. They want to try to make an issue of the shit. Like it's nothing you can do about it, because, you know what I mean, you got to go through the police and you got to go through the conditioned sort of options and shit, as if every thought you ever had of yourself is not alive in the ethers, cuz. And you don't know what I think of myself. You just hope that I think less of myself like you do. Of yourself or of me. And that ain't the case. I don't think too much of myself, but there's no, you know what I'm saying? There's no capacity when it comes to the context of the thoughts that I have of myself, what is myself, nigga? What is myself, nigga? There's something you want to try to say about me? Sure. I got these rhymes, nigga, that might, you know what I'm saying? It fucking blow your mind. As long as you sit here and listening to these raps I got, nigga, you ain't gotta worry about all that extra dumbass reverse ass thinking you doing, nigga. I could tell you that much, nigga. I mean, keep that reflective surface away the fuck from you on my way to the fucking to the middle of this nature, nigga, so I can meditate, nigga, so that you ain't gotta, you know what I'm saying, be enslaved by this cyber fucking agenda, nigga. How about that? Weirdo. Fuck out my face. Scaredy cat. You know what I mean? Because I'll be asking myself questions, but then I answer my questions. And it's not that I only ask myself questions that I can answer, but I start somewhere where I will be able to see where I would, you know, where I'm gonna pop up at in my teleportations, right? But not, you know, you can be safe to just go right out into space, and then from there you can just drop, and then as soon as you see somewhere safe to pop back up, then you can pop back up over there. But then from space you can pop, you know, you can choose any planet. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, all I'm saying is, like, even if you pop up in the atmospherical, stratospherical sky within our ozone, you might get hit by a plane or some shit, or you might pop up inside a plane next to somebody or something. You know, I mean, that's very, very freak. That'd be a very freak, rare occurrence, however, but it's possible. It's, you know what I mean, it's more possible than if you would just be like, okay, but shit, I'm gonna go right above the ozone. There's satellites out there, but that's like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you don't have eyes to see until you fuse back together, yo. Right? So you use your eyes, right? And then you decide. And then it's all of, you know, it's all that decision. It's like a snap sort of just spark. And you already, you know, dispersed into, you know, mist. But you made that decision in your mind as to where your mind, your soul was gonna be at. You know what I mean? It's like you shot your soul somewhere, and then just your molecular, you know, physical structure followed. Right? But anyway, as far as answering questions, you know, just being like, be able to work with what you have to get what you, like, you have to use what you got to get what you want, basically. You start with what you do know to find out what it is that you don't know. And in the process, then what you thought you might have known becomes even much more apparent. And that's the point, as far as like just thinking, like that's the best activity, is to think. The best activity is to think. Even with thinking, right? Like, I'ma figure it out. It's no question that you can't answer in your mind. You just gotta have the time and spend the time that you have. Even if you don't have the time, when you make the decision in your heart, sincerely, the time is going to arrive. And not even just enough time, but time within time, and even more time, the time you put into the time that comes up. Like, every minute you spend towards that effort is going to open up an hour for every second of that minute. Now or later. Now or later. Or rather, now and later. Even if you ignore it, even if you deny it, refute it, every time you realize it. But first of all, it's happening even more times than you realize, especially if you've been ignoring it. But then in actualizing it, then you are able to see multiple different realizations and times that it's there. And it's also expanding another day for every
hour that it already expanded for every second of that first minute. Each time you don't ignore it, yo. You dig? I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. You know, and you know, it's like, that's what we made to do. You think about like, what are we here to do? We're here to think, my nigga. At least firstly. And if you're not thinking, then you're not even really doing anything. Because even in thinking, yo, that's an action in itself, right? But even in all that we are doing, we're going to come back to thinking at one point. You can do all you can do without having to do. You can do all you can do to keep from thinking. It's eventually you're gonna get a flood of thoughts. You gonna get a thought gonna hit you after one. A thought gonna hit you after the next. One after the next. Yeah, and if you can survive it, then it's like, you know, you can go back to not thinking if you want, but you're always gonna return to those thoughts. And the more you don't like own it, the more you don't structure it, the more you don't itemize it. I guess you could say like optimize your thinking. Then it starts to work against you. The thinking you're not doing. You know what I mean? I'm never not thinking, but people, you know, nowadays, fools be wanting you to think about what they think you should think about, or see things the way that it's obvious, or that you have to in order to survive, or you have to in order to, you know, protect yourself or protect your interests, or, you know, or take advantage of your opportunities. And it's like, yo, man, I'm a manifester, my nigga. Like, I'm a manifester, you know, like, you know what I mean? If it's something that I want, then I'm a focus on that. Even after it happening, I'm gonna focus on not just keeping, I'm gonna focus on feeding it. I'm gonna focus on building it. I'm gonna focus on growing within it, because through thinking and through learning, and that's what another thing about reading, another the other action of thinking is reading. Because see, like, even in thinking, you're referring to your words, you're referring to how you understand your thoughts through terminologies and languages in your own mind. Now, you don't have to learn like 17 syllable words in order to understand your own thoughts. But as far as the facts of life in the current moment, in the modern world, as far as to be most effective in these particular genres and industries, as far as, like, you know what I mean, just the widespread sort of function of these different ideas that you come up with, because they are personal, but you are not even just one person. You are not only even just one person, in that you are anyone to begin with. Because see, first of all, we all here together. Secondly, everything you think, everything you do, everything you don't do, everything you don't think affects everyone else. Towards the better, towards the worse. And both at the same time. Even in the worst, it still affects them in the worst, in the best, in one way or not. It's just one of the way they spend, you know, their relatability. And it's not even a conscious effort. It's something that you could try to do. It's just happening automatically. It's something you have to try to move with. It's something that you move with, you know, and you actively move better when you kind of are able to see where you're going. And through reading, I'm not talking about like novels or poetry, which poetry is beautiful and sexy and all that extra shit too, and it's kind of like, you know, kind of put you in a little, so, you know what I mean, sort of eclectic little flavor, you know, feng shui or whatever. I'm talking about nonfiction. I'm talking about, you know, knowledge as far as like history. You know what I mean? You got to know what all happened so that you can kind of like respond conscientiously. You can respond sort of, you know, knowledgeably as well as, and, you know, thoughtfully. You can't have a thought about something that you don't even know about, you know what I mean? So you can have thoughts that relate to it, but it's like you want to be able to articulate how your thoughts relate to the different things that other people are thinking about, right? And see, that's the whole thing about reading. You're not going to find nothing that's written that does not relate to something others would be thinking about, right? And so that's the idea with just like conventional reading, or, you know, as far as like, you know, I don't know what the word for it is as far as like what's important to know. I want to say facts, but like I said, facts change, and sometimes facts are fabricated. You know, they say this is this, or, you know, like this happened in this political sense, but it was just really just the propaganda, really, honestly. And the fact of the matter is that it was propaganda, but you reading about it as if it was actually like, you know, like it really happened the way that it was made to seem like it happened. But if you don't even know about how it was made to seem it happened, then you can't even really relate when you do are able to uncover how you can say for yourself and prove to yourself that it was propaganda, or even if you can't prove it, you'll be able to reference what you think about it, whether or not or so. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's not a lot. I mean, it was fucked up. It's like, it's a lot of stuff to actually get up on, to become abreast in regards. But that's just it comes down to how you structure your researching. It's not about how much reading you're doing or that you are reading, but what it is that you are reading and why. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's your motive for reading it? Do you want to, it's like, is it a self-help book? Is it like, you know what I mean? Is it a popular sort of, you know what I'm saying? Is it popular in the market, in the reading market or whatever, to where you just want to, you know, it's like something that a lot of other people have read, so you want to be able to have read it yourself, which is great, but that just takes that time to read. And if you got to be a fast-ass reader, and still you got to be reading these other things that actually are speaking to the spirit, that are speaking on, you know, speaking on abstract ideas, you know, as opposed to just like already, you know what I mean, coined sort of categories, or coined sort of just like falling under a particular context, so to speak. And I mean, it's interesting. It really is, because it's like you can kind of sense where someone is involving themselves just because that's what it is that they're into. But they're into it because it's like that's what, you know, pays their bills, or that's what brings them into contact with, you know, different involvements. That's what brings them into contact with different involvements, different walks of life, different, you know what I mean? Different, I guess you could say, experiences. But you can't stop there, man. You gotta see it all the way through. You know what I mean? You gotta see it for what it is, and keep your mind open to what and how it relates to more things. And the more things you learn about, you know, the broader your perspective becomes, is all. As far as thinking goes. Because when you think, and what I'm saying is, when you think, you begin to question have questions as to what you are not clear on. Right? I ask myself, what's the best action? And just through formatting what I already had thought about on it, being that I was able to listen back to what I had thought about it. Say for instance, I didn't write it down and read it again or perform it and learn it that way, learn how I feel or what my thoughts about it were through performing it later and regularly, because I'm gonna forget my thoughts. And that's why bitch ass niggas try to stay in a fucking, you know what I mean, little hoe ass bubble and shit, because it's easy, nigga. I'm not thinking about nothing more than once. Unless I need to, my nigga. I'm not thinking about nothing more than one time, homie. Unless I need to, yo. And if you haven't, and when you need to think about something, cuz, ain't nothing gonna stop you from being able to think about it, homie. So don't be mad at me, cuz I'm focused on what's significant, cuz. Beyond a description, cuz. Beyond, you feel me, an explanation, or, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, man. Like, when I write my shit, bruh, I stop at shit that's gonna be relevant regardless of what changes surrounding it. What's gonna be significant, what's gonna be essential, okay? To enrichment. And it's a universal appreciation as opposed to a specific understanding. You know what I mean? And I mean, that's just me. As far as like, I ask myself, right, what is the best action? And I didn't really ask myself, I just said it like, that's something that I would want to. I feel like that is significant. I feel like that's important. Like that's intricately, you know what I mean, principle. That's an intricately principled question to have an answer for. And that is, what is the best action? Because I mean, we can do anything. There's no limits to what can be done. So, what are we doing? Exactly. Right? Well, shit. If we thought about it, man, imagine that. You feel me? If we all thought on our own about it, you know what I mean? Even just personally, let alone collectively and cooperatively, in our own private thoughts, we're keeping our mind open to the cooperative quality of what we can figure out for ourselves as to what the best fucking thing to do is, cuz. That's very simple, my nigga. And it's no excuse for not doing that, except for if you are intentionally fighting it. That's reality, cuz. Because there's way too many opportunities that come up in between coffees, cuz, in between comments, nigga. There's always that dead space, and niggas will be sitting around looking silly, trying to figure out something else to not do and shit. Like, when it's like, yo, we all have a purpose to begin with. We have a purpose for one. We have a destiny for one. For two. You feel me? We have the tools for three. We have each other for four. And for four, that's already more than enough. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's something we have to take into consideration. Like, what? It's like, are we just going to accept war? And then what? Like, you know what I mean? Even if I don't survive, if the next person don't survive, for those who would survive whatever said war, then what? You dig what I'm saying? You can't just be thinking about yourself. Like, I'm not just thinking about me. I'm a human just like any other human who would even survive whatever war was to pop off. Then what, my nigga? Well, right now is what, homie? I'ma think for then. Cause then we might have, it could happen to where we don't have to go through no war in order to have to then start thinking about what else other than war, nigga. Make most sense to me, and I ain't gotta think too hard for that. At least 10% of the time I'm thinking about how to survive and how to, you know what I mean, evade something that's inevitable unless you focus on changing it and you ain't, you know what I mean, directly fucking fighting the open window in order to change it towards what you desire deep in your soul. You feel me? You got your brother there, you got your mother there, you got your sister there, your cousin. You know what I'm saying? 1 hour out the day, man, y'all gonna have to, you know, trade hours, my nigga. You know, well, he in there meditating right now. You know what I'm saying? I got next. Or he out there with, you know, not in there, but out there because you're gonna need some sunlight. Ain't no thinking without the sun. That's reality. So, yeah, we be in the sun. The sun gonna talk to you. All right, that's my, you know what I mean? That's my good word. That's my insert. That's my insight. Like I said, when you think, you're gonna think of things, yes? And it's the best action, the first action, you know, because it's nothing we can't do. That's the part, as far as what the best action is. So that's your own answer for that. There's a overall answer for mankind as to what the best thing for man, and that's really how I pose the question as to what's the best thing for all of us to be doing right now while we can still. Because it's nothing we can't do, but we got to be able to do some shit in order to do them things that we can do, or in order to do them things that there's no limit to doing. You know what I'm saying? And do them since we can. Since it's best, it's like we have a prerogative, right? You can choose not to accept what is for you. But for you to expect or to, for you to expect or to pursue something that's not for you is taken away from what is for you and is giving you something that is not for you at the same time. And that's a double negative. And in this case, double negative don't necessarily make a positive. You know what I mean? I mean, it can make a positive, but it's a temporary positive. It's a surface, empty positive. You know what I mean? I'm talking about lasting significance. I'm talking about lasting progress. I'm talking about lasting, like, you know what I mean, steps. You know, steps in the right direction, you got to repeat. You know what I'm saying? Growth. I'm talking about evolution. I'm talking about, you know, I'm just talking about natural. What's natural? I mean, what's proper? What's regular? What's, you know what I'm saying? It's very simple, but it's basic. You can't skip the basics. Thinking is basic. So, but we should be thinking more and more every day. Don't stop there with what's good enough to win an argument. What's good enough to make the most money on earth. Like, okay, so what? Like, okay, yeah, you done? You feel me? If there's hunger anywhere, then we ain't done. If there's poverty anywhere, then we ain't done. You know what I'm saying? If every man ain't free, my nigga, then we ain't done thinking, homie. So miss me with all that extra, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to talk about none of that, honestly, homie. We can sit down and think together, though, because I'm going to tell you the truth about it. I'm going to tell you another little secret right now. One time I was thinking, and I was right next to my mama. And this had been when I had been meditating. Well, I'll be meditating. I'm gonna never go long without meditating. Because I'm just a player like that. You know what I mean? You know, I'm really woke. Like, I'm really like, you know what I mean? On, like, I'm really like all the way on. Like, I mean, I'm never off. Like, you know what I mean? Like power. Like, but one time And this was unexpected because I think my mom was trying to avoid it because, you know what I mean? There's an element of fear within her because she's sensible as well, and she's also a militant individual. To where it's like we get to a point where we get to, you know what I mean? We get on a roll, and we have momentum in these epiphanies and these solutionary sort of actions, these answered actions, these ideas that lead to the best action to take is going to involve, you feel me? Kill or be killed, to be honest. And it's like, for the future generation, just in the interest of reality, in the interest of knowledge, in the interest of evolution, in the interest of peace, freedom, in the interest of experience, abstract growth, abstract, principles, in the interest of art, in the interest of life itself, to be realistic, you're going to have to do just that much more extra thinking to justify not doing what you keep coming back to. Now me, I passed all of that already. Me, I've already thought about beyond what would be the most. First of all, I don't think that way. My mom is different though. You know what I mean? She's from a generation before me in Los Angeles streets, okay? My mama born in Los Angeles, all right? She's been in Los Angeles years before I was there. As I was growing, she still was in the jungles, still in Baldwin Hills, still on the east side, still in Watts, still in Compton, okay? So she's seen it, and she's not really on the whole, protect your soul and, live, die faultless type shit. Like, she is. She absolutely is. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, a part of her is like still on this whole little revolutionary type, you know what I mean? Type, by any means necessary in the interest of all that is justice, okay? Justice is justice, my nigga. But it's like, you can't hold a person's children accountable for something that their parents did. And that's where you're at right now. Until they make that conscious decision. And what's fucked up about it is the system now has made it so diluted to where you're making that decision smaller and smaller every day, and just not thinking. And just not thinking you're making a decision to kill or to contribute to a machine that is killing motherfuckers. This is the reality. It's not why I think, but I don't need a reason to be thinking at this point, you know what I mean? You feel me? I started in the celebration and appreciation of the truth. And that's the only reason. And the truth of the matter is that everyone deserves to be free. Everyone deserves peace of mind. That's the truth. Now, what am I gonna do about it? I could come up with my own idea, or I could sit and think and let the decision come to me. And that's what I do when I write my shits. Every time I put my pen to paper, and so I'm not guessing, I'm not sidestepping, I'm not questioning, I'm sessioning collectively, setting precedents. Now, it's not all up to me, and it's not all about me. But if it's not about me, and you want to involve yourself, just know that I'm about mine. And we're not just talking about me, as I said already. I represent all of soul power, and it represents me. And it represents me. And we're not just talking about me, as I said already. I represent all of soul power, and it represents me. In the name of my ancestors and yours, because we all got the same ancestors. In the name of my ancestors and yours. This is reality. So when it comes to this one time that I was thinking, right next to my mama, which is my first direct ancestor, something special happened. I'll tell you about that another time. 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 Basically, what I'm saying is like the whole point of why I even thought to speak on it, right? She's been misdirected since conception. Her development has been intercepted. You feel me? I said she's been misdirected since conception, right? So she don't realize. I mean, she knows that she is a helper. She is a filter. Literally a filter. Literally, like, you know, in every way. She's going to take something. She's going to take all of the bad out of it and make it good. Right? But what takes the bad out of her? Other than her taking the bad out of you. And that's what I mean when I say incomplete. Because that's part of it. But that is just the start of it.